Hello, Soulfire.
Hello, Soulfire. Welcome to the Chronicles of Chiron, the Lion, the Witch, and the Healer. I'm Chrystopher, the AstroMedium. That is,
I'm Jessica, medium, spiritual teacher, and healer. And happy winter solstice.
happy winter solstice, happy great event, happy Jupiter-Saturn conjunction.
Yes, we are here finally.
We are here finally. This has been thousands and thousands of years in the making. This has been 20 years in the making. No matter what cycle you want to start and end by, this is a completion of a cycle and the beginning of a new one we're sitting in. And so we are feeling it. What are some of the things you are feeling right now, Jessica? And I really don't
I
know.
have felt everything this week. Yeah, we have not talked. So I've felt a lot this week. I've gone through depression. I've had a lot of anxiety. I've had a little bit of like odd vanity, like body things. It's vibrations, of course, but a lot of emotion and having to like really check in with myself to be like, okay, why do I feel off?
Right.
And I'm aware that it's, the winter solstice and we've got this great event and, the full moon is next week, right? You got to keep that in mind. There's so much energy. I've had to really check in and just try to keep going and know that there's so many reasons behind the emotion.
Yes, and I've been feeling a lot of these things too. Just yesterday,
Yeah.
I woke up after having very vivid dreams. So there's a lot of vivid dreams happening right now. Just 3 days ago, the sun was in alignment with the galactic center. So there's a lot of light codes, energy downloads, a lot of new awarenesses we're coming to. We're coming into a lot of Uranus and Aquarian energy, which is flashes of insight. That's heightened intuition as well. People attribute Neptune and Pisces to all of the intuition and psychic stuff. Well, Aquarius and Uranus, because Uranus rules Kundalini energy and flashes of insight. There is levels of psychic awareness to that as well, especially when you are downloading psychic information of the future. That's Uranus energy, okay? So we've got a lot of this that we're moving into. So some of the ascension symptoms that people are experiencing, and myself, depression, fatigue, we are processing a lot of things in the dream time. Yesterday I woke up after having very vivid dreams about certain people that are no longer in my life, and I woke up not feeling very well, and I cried in the shower because I was like, this is something I haven't felt here recently a lot. Felt like something that I had pulled out of my subconscious to the surface, and there it was when I woke up. So I needed to then process it with my body. That's what we need to be mindful of as well. So we are experiencing a lot of that. But even today, lots of heart beating, rapid heart palpitations. I've been getting a lot of the chest pressure or chest heat and sensations in the center of the chest. So there's a lot of heart activations, throat tightness, throat swirling. So there's a lot of throat activations that are happening. Headaches that will, and they are aching now. I get the pressure a lot, but now there's headaches, okay? The fatigue, there's a lot of different, my goodness, they're showing me like blood vessels. There's blood vessel things changing with, that was really specific. Some type of mineral or metal or something like this in the bloodstream. I understand. There's a lot of conducting, and I've said this before about electricity that's happening.
Yes.
But there's things that are happening to the I'm wanting to use the word veins, but that's not the right word. Like capillaries and blood vessels and things like that. Lots of inflammation that's happening in the body. You'll also be noticing weird sensations in your back and the hips rotator areas around the pelvis. Lots of aching and pain, like almost like getting old kind of pains. And definitely the muscle twitches are still there. We are definitely, now I have not experienced a lot of the blurry vision here recently, but there's still a lot of blurry vision.
I have.
Yes, and people seeing things more. So just today, I was looking down, and a lot of times when I'm looking towards a light or I'm in the shower, I'll see these things, and so I'll go, maybe it's the light, maybe it's the water refracting. I don't know if that's the right term, but today I was looking at my phone and I saw this super bright flash of blue, and I was just like, okay. I just was like, I don't know what to do with this shit. And the synchronicities, we really need to be paying attention to the synchronicities. Yes, we're being communicated with. Go ahead.
No, it's so crazy. So I was just playing cards. I think I took a picture. And I messaged you this week when I went and got my oil changed, and like all my numbers were like 5, 5, 5, 5.
Uh-huh.
So I was just playing cards, and it was like 5, 5, 5, 5. Yeah. Like the synchronicities are wild right now.
I had it. I looked at my phone today at 12:12. I looked at my phone today at 2:22. I've seen it before. I saw 777 on someone's license plate. Another thing really interesting that's been going on for about a month and a half. Since actually about 2 months now, is right before I moved out of my last apartment, the person who was in my driveway, their license plate said CPH and then all their numbers. Well, those are my initials. So now I see CPH on someone's license plate every single day.
Oh, wow.
And that, for me, that's even more weird than the numbers, okay?
Yeah,
because I've been seeing a lot of 777, 888 grouped together on license plates, and it's usually someone who will pull out in front of me. And it just happened tonight on the way here. I saw someone's license plate said 777, and I told myself, because I was thinking about certain things, and I was like, everything's going to be okay. You're processing things, you're all right. Someone pulled out right in front of me, and it said CPH. I said, okay, I got it. All right. I'm going to be okay. Okay. And that's all I can take it as. I didn't take it like Archangel Michael came in and cut a cord for me. It didn't have to be like that. We have to start noticing it and owning it for what it is, which is more connection. So there's a lot more connection that's happening. Please, everyone, be patient with yourself, because these sleep disturbances, the insomnia, and the not knowing when it's going to hit, because sometimes it's fine. Sometimes I slept all the way through the night, and then other nights it's not like that. And it's really weird, the sleep. And even when you're getting a lot of sleep, you're doing so much work. We're doing so much subconscious work that we astral work, and you and I would call it, that when we wake up, it's just like, I just want to rest and let my body. But you got to get up to go to work. You got to do the things you got to do. So a lot of the reason this process is taking so long is because the state of the world and our beliefs. I mean, I have had several people contact me this week talking about how they feel weird and what is this? Is this the conjunction? About 20 people have talked about, is this the conjunction? My eyelash fell out. Is this the conjunction? I said, yes. No, I'm just kidding. But someone was talking about, I'm just sitting here laying in bed like a loser. And I was just like, that used to be you, Chrystopher, that used to be you. And I said, it can still be you sometimes. I said to them, you need to lay there and not feel guilty about it. What if you're actually getting more accomplished by just laying there energetically? We're not taught that. We don't really believe that. We're in a time where we are having to download new beliefs, but the old ones are fighting them so bad. That's what's delaying this process. And the ascension process could go so much easier if we were listening to our guidance, and if we were going with our own internal clock and our own rhythms and cycles, which are not the same as everyone else's. And our work, our belief systems, our trauma, all of that is getting in the way. It's fine. It's not like we're not going to get somewhere, but just know that we are moving more into a time where we will have to honor these things. And if you're lying in bed, I told her, I said, maybe your body is manifesting depression to get you to rest so that something biologically can shift quicker. She liked the way that sounded, and that was all that mattered, okay? And instead of, if you're feeling depressed, you can get up and go for a walk. You'll feel better. But maybe it's just trying to get you to go inward, or just trying to get you to rest, right? And it's not like you've been resting every day. No, I haven't. Well, okay, this isn't an ongoing thing for you. So we do need to be mindful and patient, because there's a lot of us out there experiencing things and jumping to a lot of conclusions. We're going the WebMD route rather than the galactic route, and it's scary. This is a weird time, especially because go ahead.
No, it's a weird time. I've talked to a lot of people recently in their readings, and I'm getting a lot of worry about the slowdown. We've gone through it the whole year, though. This whole year we've been asked to slow down. So it's not just now, but we are being slowed down again. So I've been talking to a lot of people that need to slow down, and it is about getting the rest, but it's also about allowing us to go through the transitions we need. And when we're not rested, when we're not slowing down, they're telling me that we're not able to catch up with some of the things that are coming in and the things that are leaving, and it's causing some of the mixed emotions is what I'm hearing. Mm-hmm. And I feel like even for those of us that are aware, that are very aware, it can still be like, okay, here's this piece of it, but I also know there's this spiritual piece to it also. So it's very real that you have to, deal with both, but knowing that there is a spiritual something else that's coming out of this. We're releasing physically from the body, the activations in the heart that you're talking about, in the throat, also the third eye and the crown. Yes, all of these are coming with this conjunction. They're coming in with this, specifically the conjunction, but also the winter solstice. But this high heart is really activating. It can feel like a lot of pressure. I've had to stretch my back a lot, and that is that heart expanding, and there's a lot of vibration in it. But it's because we're bringing more love in. That's where some of those old beliefs, all the old gender patterns, like all of those things that we have held on to, and all of that is releasing big time.
Gemini is the bisexual, but Aquarius is the pansexual, and Aquarius is the, Gemini is androgynous, but Aquarius can be as well. So Gemini is mixing male and female. Aquarius is a new gender all on its own.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. You like that?
How many people? Yes.
So it's not that I'm a man and a woman. I'm an entirely new Uranus, futuristic thing. And that's when I hear a lot of people channeling other beings, other star systems, and it makes sense to me. But there are not one or not two sexes or genders. I guess we should say sexes, actually, because there's the male and the female, but then there's the man and the woman, and that is different. Ooh, I'm seeing some sparkles now. I still want to know what they mean sometimes, because they might just be happening, but they do happen when I'm talking about certain things sometimes. And I'm almost like, am I getting like a little, we're here for this? Or,
I think I've shared this with you before, is that it's been probably about a year, and I was doing a show, and I had gotten the message that we're going back to the beginning, when everyone was androgynous. And I was like, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So it is
a beginning and an end, because there is no such thing.
There is no such thing.
Yeah. So I totally get that. It's all cycles and rhythms, and there's a lot of, I'm getting a lot of Atlantis energy right now. They're wanting to talk about.
So what, I was in a blessing last night, and it was beautiful, and there was a lot of heart activation, and there was channeling happening. And what I didn't know that I heard in the blessing was this activation that we're going through. This is the third time we've tried to do it, and we finally have
heard that before.
Because it happened. Lemuria did not succeed. Atlantis did not succeed.
Yes, I've heard this, and they're saying they are saying that this is the time, we're on the timeline where we are going to do this. And we also have to understand that from an esoteric point of view, like Alice Bailey, because they talk about, you know, the mental body, the etheric body, the astral body, the emotional body, all of those things, and the 7 rays, that we are reincarnated from those beings. Many of us, if not all of us, you know, there's different levels to that. There's different societies that groups of people are, you could say, if you are not someone who's into reincarnation or that idea, because that does imply a type of linear time frame. It's all happening in a once or a now. So
Right.
it's like harking. Is that the right word? Hearkening?
I don't know.
I don't know. Harking back, calling
I'm going to
back,
say yes.
pulling that energy to now, you know, representing it in a new way now. And we are going to take this conscious evolutionary jump, and even from a soul perspective, as the soul from a linear perspective lives many different lifetimes, it builds up etheric matter, is what it's called. So it's not that, oh, that person's awake, well, I want to be awake too and enlightened. No, there is a armor of experience. That's not the right term, but it's actually etheric material that's gathered through all these different experiences that have been had, made of emotional and mental energies. And at some point, the etheric matter in all of your forms, because that's why we have birthmarks that may have been something that happened in another life, because the physical body is also representative of that energy. You do. And once the etheric matter is built up, the soul will decide to come into the body, because in Alice Bailey's work in Dwakul, the Tibetan or the ascended master that she was channeling, that's the right term, channeling, pulling information from. Well, but a lot of them say that she wasn't channeling. So I'm just saying, if anyone's watching this, I do understand that the way she did it was different. She worked with him almost the way we work with someone's loved one. She didn't, I don't know if she necessarily went into trance like Daryl Anka and Esther Hicks.
Those are channelings.
Yes, but it wasn't trance channeling, I don't think. So she worked with this Tibetan because he still exists. He does not have a lifespan. I believe in that. I don't think that's science fiction at all. And once the soul decides to come in, it's like the soul has to make sure that the light bulb has the wattage capacity to hold its frequency. Up to that point, you're a projection. And then you become a soul-infused being, which is where we're moving to. The Buddha, Jesus, or the man we call Christ, these were soul-infused beings, people who were representative or holding the fullness of their soul within the physical vessel, rather than being a projection and a representation of. Does that make sense? It's like you projecting yourself out, but still being here, but not fully being there. It's a projection. And as soon as you experience enough matter or move to these different awarenesses and these states, which happen naturally, it is so important. I was getting this morning. Of course we're talking about this because I was having this conversation with you in my head this morning about how we cannot, I was in the shower, we can't rush this process. A lot of us, like a lot of times I'm going, I still want that, but that might not be the enlightened way of doing it. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm not there yet. I'm not enlightened. I'm not supposed to be. There's got to be the incarnations that aren't that for there to be this full experience, if you want to look at it. There's got to be the chapters that are not the last chapter. So,
yes.
So it's like you are where you are, and your soul is really driving this process. And so for a lot of people, they're wanting to rush it or get there or awaken their kundalini or do the right thing. And it's like, you still have those thoughts. You still sometimes want to off yourself or run yourself off the road or kill that person for jumping in line in front of you. You're an animal. It's okay. We're working our way up. When you notice those things and you're the observer, you used a term earlier. You were like more aware, but you didn't say the word awake. That struck me. It kind of struck me like a little zzz. And I was like, ooh, spiritual awarening. Like this whole I'm awake, it has become such a hierarchy. I'm awake and you're asleep. The sleeple, and I'm just like, I'm not into this anymore. This whole spiritual awareness rather than spiritual awakeness. And I'm like, oh, there's levels of awareness. See, awake implies I'm awake or I'm asleep, but awareness, there's levels to that. So I really like the way you put that. And I was like, that's really what this is about, is you can still allow the humanness to come out and have an awareness of it. My little brother sent me a text here like a few days ago and was like, I was having a conversation with somebody and it was like I was watching myself and I told myself not to respond the way I wanted to. And I was like, okay, you didn't astral project, but what you just did was you followed the observer standpoint and perception rather than the ego. And you're both, you're all. And you have an experience now where you not only did it, but there's another part of you that was aware of the observer not doing that.
Yep.
And you start to really come into your multidimensionality. And people don't give that enough credit. They want to say, oh, I want to astral project. I want to be a medium. I want to be a psychic. I want to do a gallery reading, which went amazing.
Of course it did.
Oh my God.
They're fun. Let's do one.
When we get off of this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about it, okay? But it's important. I know I'm being real passionate right now, and I know that. I just feel really, I think I was getting a lot of this juice earlier today, and so I'm now like, oh, this is where it can go, okay? So I'm just saying, I was having a lot of ideas earlier because I'm like, you know what? It's okay to be sexual and nasty and be spiritual. It's all one thing. We need to take that with us. We need to love all those parts. It's like, gosh, even one-celled organisms or animals that are killing each other, that's spiritual too. There's so much bullshit going on right now about what it means to be spiritual and what it means to be this. And it's just, I really have been cutting myself a lot of slack for being human and not trying to spiritually bypass. And, you know, just because you know that the more enlightened thing to do would be to be of service to others, if you still naturally are inclined to have service to self, you know what? That's still better than no service at all. And that's just where you are. And that awareness does send a signal out. So you are now being delivered new information because of that new awareness. But it doesn't mean that's who you are now just because you know it. So.
Well, it has to do, what I'm hearing is the spiritual awakening or the spiritual awareness has to do with our self-awareness, our soul awareness. It's putting ourselves into alignment, yes, through the chakras, but through our many subtle aura bodies. We're aligning everything, but we're also aligning with our higher self and through our heart, connecting with our soul. So our awareness really is for ourselves. So when we're aware of ourselves, we're able to be more observant on the things that are happening around us. I mean, it might be where you would normally snap back at your child because they talk back to you and you're like, they must be having a bad day. That's an awareness. Like, it doesn't have to be some huge Kundalini rising for you to be in a spiritual awareness. Like, and they can be, right? But it's for everybody, like everybody wanting to, like, I want to be awake. I want to know more. I want to know everything. It has been a process for us learning. Like, your awareness grows. And what I also heard while you were talking was, as you talked about, what'd you say, the etheric adding on? What I heard, okay, what I was getting was, this is where the old soul and the new soul comes in, like and more of it like an immature soul and a mature soul, because there are old souls or mature souls and immature souls that have lived maybe not as many lifetimes or experienced as many things. Like I've been told I've done my physical body work. Now let's move on to this area, so it's very interesting how, you have certain terms, and also awareness. Like when I think of awareness, I am aware of spirit around me. I'm aware of my psychic ability. And also sometimes I'm aware of fairies and tree spirits and dragons and angels. Like I'm all up in that.
Yeah.
I love that
Me,
shit. And it's
I'm,
so cool.
I'm a little
So
bit.
it depends on what your belief system is too. And being open, open on your belief system is, you don't have to believe mine. Just honor what you've got going on. And you can be like, well, that's cool that she believes that, but I'm not with it. But you're open to hearing it. You're open to the awareness that it's a possibility.
Oh, yes. And that's what Aquarius energy is all about. On Christmas Day, we will be experiencing some very quick, but Mercury transits have a lot to do with how we're interacting with each other in the collective, how we're communicating with each other, how information's being delivered. Mercury will make a trine to Uranus, and Mercury will make a trine to Lilith 5 hours later. And it's,
Wow.
yes, because Uranus and Lilith are at 6 and 7 degrees of Taurus right now. They're making this dance with each other with this conjunction. And those are the two rebellious energies. Uranus is rebellious in a humanitarian role, wanting to get more scientific information, to expand technology, to be an individual, but to be an individual as part of a greater whole. Lilith, she's very rebellious because she's a woman, and she's a strong woman, and she has a lot, and she's not afraid to go to the dark side. She's not afraid to express her sexual deviances and to rise up and use her abuse as power. And so those two working on that day, we've got a lot of energies that are going to be happening this week that are, yes, and I'm going through.
Did you see my face?
Yeah, it's a lot. Like if you're experiencing Lilith transits, I mean they're intense, but I have been experiencing Chiron square Lilith for the past year, about past year and a half. They've been doing this thing with each other. So Chiron and Lilith. Oh.
Oh, that
Oh.
makes so much sense.
Can't you see? Like on top of Pluto opposite Chiron, Saturn opposite Chiron, Jupiter opposite Chiron. So it's important we know our astrological transits as well, and progressions and things like that, because that's showing us the unraveling and the unfolding of this process. Your soul chose to come in at a very specific time. It's all purposeful, so that it was like a domino effect. If I set the domino up in a specific way, and I set it in motion, which is that birth or that conception, they're gonna land and hit where it was always, you were always gonna go through this transit at this exact time. You're not being punished. This was something your soul chose to go through. It's like an obstacle course it's set up for itself. Some are slides, you slide right down, trines. Some are jungle gyms, okay? Some, you gotta look at it.
There's a reason for that, though, because we have a choice to do it the easy way or the hard way, but sometimes we don't listen to our messages. Yeah. I mean, me too, y'all.
And a lot of times we come in with specific personality traits that are going to view some of these transits and experiences as hard, okay? Yeah. Leo and Taurus energy, that's so too hard. It should be easy.
So me. I'm like,
yes, and I have a lot of that too. So, or if you have a lot of Gemini or Virgo in you, this constant analyzing and obsessing. I mean, it just depends on what you come in with, but the soul is still projecting itself. And I do believe that as you become more soul infused, you become less influenced by certain astrological energies if they're more dense. Okay. And then we are going to discover, we're going to go off. I'm going there. I feel like Aquarius. I'm not afraid to talk about the weird out there stuff. Let's go off into left field today. Let's go off into the fact that in Alice Bailey's work, I'm pretty sure, or in those more esoteric spiritual teachings, you've got planets that we can't even see yet with our visible light spectrum that are out there. Veiled planets. etheric planets that once you start to see etherically, you'll be able to see them, and then you'll be in that vibration to start receiving the influence of them. In one of my mentors, he even said, well, that was Pluto, that was Neptune at one time. It wasn't that they didn't discover it, it just, for them at that time, it wasn't there.
Well, that's what we've been finding even this year. And it's been coming and coming. I don't remember, a few years ago, it was like, there's a new planet in our solar system. And then I thought, there's a new planet. But now I'm like, y'all, we're just seeing things because our frequency is changing. Like,
Yes.
as our frequency changes, we're able to see more. So listen, I was watching The Last Airbender, which, by the way, I haven't finished it. I had never watched it before.
Oh yeah, that's so.
I did try to convince my nephew that I was the last airbender because I connect with the spirit world and I work with the elements, and he did not take that. He did not like it. However, I watched him go to the spirit world and I was like, oh shit, I do that every day. Like, however, like, I close my eyes and I can visualize Lumeria. Like, I can visualize being, different parts of the world. I was like, I do that every day.
Exactly.
We're able to use our magic to project.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Mm-hmm. I'm getting a lot of solar plexus stuff going on right now. So, and as soon as I said that, they're going to start tingling my crown. And I'm like, what is going on right now?
Well, what I heard was you said something that you normally wouldn't have said, and it was almost like a punch in the gut, like, oh, what's that going to come out as? Which really, everything you said was great, but that's what they just told me, like, take a deep breath, let that go.
Oh yeah, there it is. Jessica's. Oh yeah.
I like to use the breath.
Oh, I'll remember that until I die. But I do kind of want to shift to the shift of the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. So, today there was a mass meditation, 1:22 Eastern Standard Time. I did it. I did this guided meditation I was getting lots of buzzing, and I just didn't even think much about it. I was like, of course this is happening. Of course. I mean, even my little brother texted me and was like, I just meditated to this meditation, and I could feel myself coming out of my body, and I was buzzing, and I was like, not come into the light, little child. That was not what it was. It was finally, because we're so much alike that I've always just thought, I would not be surprised if he ended up having some kind of awakening or realizing he had certain abilities or something. We're not exactly the same, but there's so much in common that I'm like, okay, yeah, we're both gay, and yeah, we both like the same music, and yeah, we both kind of have my moon sign is Leo, his rising sign is Leo. I'm Gemini sun, his moon is Gemini. His Mars is Leo, my Mars is Leo. So there's even in the personality, his Venus is Aries, my Venus is in the first house in Leo. So that's very similar. His Venus is in the fifth house, which is Leo. My Venus is in the first house, which is Aries. So there's this whole weird, it's very odd. So even people like him who just listen to me go on and on about this stuff usually are having their own experiences. So this new thing is happening, this new wave is coming, and we all kind of, people are really like, this is the age of Aquarius, this is it, this is the great ascension. And it's like, hold up, are you really receiving that, or are you just kind of going off of what everyone else is saying? This is exciting, but just like nothing really huge happened on December 21st, 2012. It's one domino, and it's going to domino effect. So yes, and we have major energies that are coming for us in 2021. I was going to go astrologically, but they're talking about the heart.
The heart of the earth, dude, like,
big time.
The heart of the earth, our heart. It's like heart activations to bring us into that alignment. Yes, there's a lot more. You're saying with the higher self. Yes, there's a lot of people who, they're like, are we going to wake up tomorrow with all these new abilities? No, they're going to start coming online now.
this is really a triggering effect. We're starting a lot. I mean, even if we were just to talk about Jupiter and Saturn, this is a new structural expansion. So we've got the planet of restriction and the planet of expansion, both in the sign of the future. So there's this, Jupiter's ready to get out there and make it 2300 already. And Saturn's saying, no, let's hold back. Let's work with what we already have. And let's bring all these systems into the future. But Jupiter's going to bring in those higher awarenesses, bring those people to us, those more aligned thinking, because he's all about optimism as well. I talk about them like they're people up there, but this is really important, and we are going to feel a lot of ascension symptoms going forward. But for some of us who've already been on this path, it just feels like, when is this going to end? And it's not going to end. This process never ends, but this has become such a thing now because we are moving into frequency so much faster that you have to understand, you've been doing this for lifetimes, okay? You killed somebody in a lifetime, didn't regret it, killed somebody in another one, regretted it, got killed in another one, came back, didn't do that, but was really into murder mystery movies in that lifetime. So that still was there, but you weren't acting on it fully. I mean, that's ascension in and of itself. I'm not saying murder is bad. Okay. I'm saying it's not in alignment with a higher frequency, which is where we're moving to. There's nothing wrong with anything that exists anywhere, because that whole right and wrong thing, that's something that we're all going to have to come to terms with. But if you really are feeling certain ways about it, you are where you are, and there's something wrong with that. And there's certain things I don't want to happen, and there's certain things I do want to happen. But that's you and your preference, and going, that's my preference. That's a weird place to be in among people who are very polarized, and they exist in a right and wrong universe. When I hear people use terms like, oh, that's a bad thought, or a negative thought, and things like that, I'm always just like, gosh, I'm not into their verbiage, because it means that we're all in agreement on this, right? You shouldn't be thinking that. Mm-hmm. Taking power away, okay? People get scared about that because they're like, oh, you better tell people what's right and wrong so that things I don't want happening don't happen.
Yes.
We're moving to a universe where we're more telepathic, we're more connected in certain ways. And when you start to really see other beings and other things as reflections of you, that changes your whole thing. The only reason you would want to kill something is because you'd want to kill yourself in that universe. So it's like, hold up now, there's a lot of polarity that's coming to the surface to get out and to process and really test our beliefs on what is right and wrong. And this is very important. This is what all this shadow work is about as well. So
suppression. That's what they just told me. Like, we've suppressed so many wants and needs, but what's really activating is this throat chakra, that voicing and doing what's right for you. Mm-hmm. So not only the heart, yes, the heart, but also the throat. And I'm hearing, there are a lot of people needing to speak their truth, standing up for themselves, which also comes into the solar plexus. So all of these areas are going to definitely activate stronger. And that may be a little bit of what you're feeling in your solar plexus right now too. But that voicing, speaking your truth, no matter what other people think, no matter, who I am, what I say, you perceive it one way, it's not my fault. I'm just speaking my truth. Yeah. I mean, obviously I respect people and would be very kind, but our truth is important, and we're not going to be able to go on and not speak it. We're not going to be able to go on. That's one of the things also coming out of that.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about tonight?
That's what I was going to say. Is there anything else you want to talk about the winter solstice or the conjunction? I think that I have shared what I need to share.
I meditated today at that time. I think that was very important, but there's going to be all kinds of people meditating at different times today. I think it's important that everyone does one. I think, and what I did during was I imagined all these people who were aware, who were conscious of this, who were holding more light, who were holding a higher frequency, and we're all like gathering it into this big grid or this big ball, and I was just adding my part to it and hooking up with that. And then when you hook up with that, you start to stream in information from those cords. That's how I was seeing it. Like I plugged into this higher awareness that so many people were plugged into. So we plugged our energy into it, which added energy, which made the energy grid stronger. And then that energy grid starts to send feedback back to you. And I was just like, this is really cool. I like this whole global meditation thing. Lemuria, Atlantis, they couldn't do that.
Right. And we are being asked to bring those frequencies coming in. What I was told this week was, doing a meditation a little bit for the next 21 days, allowing these to gently filter in, and giving yourself some downtime. So not just, I did the one today at 122 also, but each day, go ahead and get your practice going, your meditation practice. Whether you're focusing on being the channel of light or bringing in that awareness, but doing something for your own awareness to help those frequencies come in for you.
Yeah.
Just breathe. That's all you have to do. Just breathe.
Yeah.
Because I just heard people were like, what? Just focus on your breath coming into your body and your breath leaving. It's just shifting your focus and being aware in your body and just seeing what happens there.
Yes. I'm in agreement with you 100%. So, Jessica, what do you have going on this week?
Let's see this week. Well, Monday we have our Intuitive Witch Circle. I took the night off today. I was in a mediumship gallery tonight, so I was working on that. But we are doing mediumship in our Monday night Witch Circle. And then next Tuesday is my full moon ceremony for you. Those of you who are here locally, I only have a couple of spots open. We'll be a close-knit group next Tuesday at 7 celebrating the full moon. And I do have a promo code for the rest of this year, Yule20. If you want to book with me, you can use that for after the new year, but you have to use the code by December 31st, and it is all yours to use. And you can find me at thejessicatanselle.com. How about you, Chris?
Where can I go? Yes, so if you are not already following me on Instagram, you absolutely should at the.astromedium. You can also find me on YouTube and Facebook at just the AstroMedium. If you'd like to book a reading with me, you can go to www.chrystopherwithawymedium.com. I'm also the in-house astrologer for Eclipse over Roswell here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I teach astrology classes every Wednesday night in store if you're in the area or on Zoom. I have a lot of people on Zoom right now. It's really cool. So you can go to visiteclipse.as.me/astro to pre-register for that. It's $10, or you can go to eclipseoverroswell.com for more information about that. And that's every week at Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Awesome.
All
well,
right.
Thank you for being here with me on the winter solstice.
Yes.
And we'll be back next Monday night at 9:30.
Absolutely. Here on Soulfire. Everyone, have a great night.
Have a good night, you guys.